today.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
Boom. In your face. Chest out, chin up, eyes forward. Let's have a conversation. The Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. You want to be a part of what we're doing? You are invited in. Come on in. Fist bumps are allowed. Head nods if you must. Those universal head nods, which just is a positive acknowledgement of the other person. Head nods. Head nods are glorious, man. Spectacular. You can follow on all of the live video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961. You should have the Ticket app downloaded onto your devices so that you have them so that you can take us wherever you go. We can be where you're at. Simplicity. Whether in the car or at home or wherever you are. We can do that. Greatly appreciate you hanging out with us over the course of the next 2 hours. I do want to go into some spaces. I was asked often what happens for a show. It is the idea that is passed along from other people over the course of conversations. And I was asked this question this weekend, and I want to thank Bach for participating in this. And Bach knows that when I sit in the chair, often I'm just going to throw grenades at him. And I don't necessarily need to send Bach a whole list of preparation questions because I want his authentic, true reaction to it. But if I ask you to list the 5 most popular current Nebraska athletes, the 5 most, and right, that the 5 most. So if, let's say, aliens land in Lincoln and they say, take me to your athletic leaders, your leaders, the people who are the best specimens of what a Husker is. And then, because it'll help us identify, one, what the elite Husker is. Like, what should it look like? What does it accomplish? Right? What kind of success and lessons have they learned? Because in order to have this conversation, you have to say what's most important about being Husker. What's most important? Is it success, winning, name, ceiling? At some point, social media engagement comes into the discussion, but I'm not sure that it is the thing that most people would put at the top of the list. But social media engagement and following can't be the number one thing of engagement. Now, if we said the most popular or the most known, that's different than what 5 athletes. If you wanted to say these are the 5 best Huskers, and text line, feel free to join in. And there are no wrong answers. So, Bach, sir, I am asking for your list of 5. 5. And Scaper starts it off. He says Harper, Dylan, Emmett, Jordy, Dane Key. I'm not sure how Dane Key makes the list, being that most people don't know. Has Dane Key experienced the Husker experience?
Not yet, I don't think.
Right? Do they know what this is? And I'm not sure. And again, there's no wrong answer. You if it's the 5 that comes to mind for you, it's the right answer. So, Bach, sir?
So this is the current Nebraska Huskers right now.
We're gonna get to the all-time Huskers.
Mm.
We're gonna get. Oh, you better believe at 12 noon we're getting into the top 5 Huskers. But Bach, current Husker athletes.
Yeah, I like kind of what Byron was kind of thinking there. I think Dylan has to be first. He's almost the face of the Husker football program. And I don't think his experience as a Husker is typical of many other Huskers that have even ever been through it. But he's almost the face of the program. So I think you have to start with that. I do like Harper Murray and Jordy Ball being included on there. Obviously, Harper Murray's social media presence is quite big. Jordy Ball is just maybe the best softball player in the nation. So I think he definitely got to put those folks in the mix. I think Rick Mass probably deserves to be in there. Took a year off, had a year off, so maybe a little bit less acknowledged at this point. But I think once we kind of get back into the swing of basketball and realize he's going to be the leader, one of the leaders on that team, he's going to be in the category for me. Then I guess we are in a football state, aren't we? So I suppose to round it out, I'm trying to think of some other names, but I think Emmett Johnson does kind of come to mind. He's been doing some of the media stuff that Dylan, he's kind of been walking along with Dylan at some of these things. So, and again, I'm a wrestling fan, so I've seen Emmett and Dylan on the WWE screen, national television. So I'd throw Emmett in there as well.
So here's what's funny. Here's what's funny to me. That if I'm going to tell the universe, the country, the Big Ten, and future Huskers, current Huskers, what the standard is for being an elite Husker. Elite Huskers. The best of the best of the best, from not on image, on work done. Work done. Bach, have we lost our minds in not saying that, I don't know, there's four Huskers who are literally the best in the country at what they do. 4 national titles. Remember that thing? National titles?
Oh, yeah.
Remember national championships? Remember when being a Husker meant you were not only in the discussion, but you're in the production vacuum that exists that says there are Nebraska Huskers who are the best, the best in the country, not only in the Big Ten, right? That some of this, we give too much to people who haven't done a thing yet. That's the part that, like, to me, we give credit to people for being basic. There's a bowler that's the best in the country. We know that Julia Martin is the best bowler in the country. Bowler of the year. Like, earned. Not given. Not crowned. Best. Earned. Standing on the highest pedestal on the podium that you can stand, that a Husker stands at the top of a podium. Antrell Taylor, best in the country. Ridge Lovett, best in the country. Jordy Ball, player of the year. In several factions, several journalistic spaces, and based on players. That those 4, before we say anything else. And they're national champions in track. Like, we know that, right? We know that on the track team, there are Huskers who are the best in the country at what they do, or at least in the discussion. Would Bach, would you say that Emmett Johnson was an all Big Ten running back?
Not yet. No, hasn't earned that.
Would you say that Rink Mass was an all Big Ten basketball performer?
Did he get third team? I can't remember, but not national champion. But again, the popularity of the sports kind of factor in football is always going to be the face of Nebraska athletics.
So should you lower expectations in every other sport because football is playing 500? Is that what we're doing?
I wouldn't lower expectations, but I would acknowledge that all the craziness in the NCAA, it's not just Nebraska. Football is the king of America. So all the craziness in the NCAA. Well,
since when?
Look at the NFL ratings. Look at the college football ratings. I
thought baseball was America's pastime.
Pastime, sure. That's fine.
Like, isn't that attendance?
You have to go back quite a bit.
What sport is the most attended in America? What are the two? What are the three? I don't know. I'm not sure the NFL is in the top 4.
Well, they have a limited amount of games.
That part. Exclusivity sets expectation and demand, right? That if you're only available for 8 home games, there's less asked of you than of the people who have to deliver for 81 home games or 41 home games, right? I mean, that's a strange thing to say, that we give more credence and credibility to football. But if you say that Nebraska is a football state, right?
Yeah. Hard to argue.
Right? Football state. And that is the engine that moves everything. It's the straw that stirs the drink, as Reggie said.
Yes.
Right? But do you lower the standard because of it, or should you raise the standard because of it? Which program do you feel best about in the Husker athletic department? Which one do you trust the most? Which one do you know? Right? Like I'm not asking this because in having an answer for it. I'm asking it to literally get to a common ground with it. What program? If we said what athletic program, the University of Nebraska has set the highest standard of what Husker athletics is and should be, what program would you say?
I'd probably say volleyball.
Fair?
Yeah.
Fair. So if we're doing that, right, that volleyball is the standard. Why is it the standard?
Well, because it's the top 5 program. So I mean, you'd love to be there. Now there are some other sports that could argue
success
that as well, but yeah, success is what
winning.
Yeah.
Development.
Yeah.
Right. So we can't. It's just a little strange to me to say out loud that the standard is volleyball, but the acceptance and the model is football. What are we saying?
Well, I don't want the football's struggled over the years, but it is a 5-time national champion of blue blood in college football. And like I said earlier, it's not just Nebraska that relies heavily on football in the athletic department. That's where a lot of the money moves are made. So I like the question because it, like you said, there's all different kind of categories you can kind of break it into. If you just kind of go, well, who are the most popular Huskers? Well, a lot of those are going to be on the football team because there's
who are the best.
Yeah, who are the best?
Who are the best?
Who's the face?
So I'll re-ask the question: who are the best athletes at the current athletes at the University of Nebraska?
Well, then I think you have to go through the national championship list, and I don't know if a football player makes the list.
Yeah, So imagine, and I can't speak for Troy Dana, and I don't want to speak for the Regents, and I don't want to speak for the top boosters, because they're different questions. Those folks may say, who are the most important athletes? Who are the most important athletes in the Husker athletic department? Different question than who's the best. But I think I would pay attention to both in full. Because list 1, best. List 2, most important. We can easily say that currently, as we stand, if we were to take, if this was an election, it would almost be a rout in that Dylan Raiola is currently the most recognized, apparent, and highlighted athlete at Nebraska. Fair?
Yeah, it
Okay.
always kind of goes back to the quarterback in Nebraska. You say, how many people could name the governor versus the quarterback back of Nebraska?
And if we ask the question, if football is all important, and if football is the straw that stirs the drink, then shouldn't all top five be football? Because there was a time and a long time, a 30-year stretch where every one of the top 5 was a football player.
Most important?
Yeah, most important.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you ask best, because national championships weren't just falling off trees. Right? We know that there are certain programs, like basketball's never been in that conversation, right? Men's or women's. Baseball's, no. National championship in softball?
No.
So if we're resetting standard and vision and perspective of how we think about Husker athletics, then we're saying, well, but there are people who have figured out how to be the best at Nebraska, how to be Big Ten champions and national champions while at Nebraska. And I'll give baseball credit for figuring out how to at least win the Big Ten tournament, because that is not that common either. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So give me 5 football players who are the most important. Give me the 5 most important football players
For this upcoming year. Well,
currently on the roster, right? Currently
Yeah.
on the roster. 5 most important Husker football players.
well, again, I think you start with Dylan.
Okay.
There's a lot of guys that have a potential to break out, so you kind of have to see there. I mean, I'd probably go with Ja'Cory Barney in there as a guy.
So let's use simple theory of relativity, what we know versus what we think we know, right? Because we can speculate on importance, or we can speak to what we know. Like give me 5 players that we know are going to produce. Give me the 5 most productive Huskers on the roster.
Well, again, then you go to, does Dane Key's career at Kentucky count? Because
No,
it is.
it doesn't. We don't know.
Well, we do know that he's at the SEC level, a proven wide receiver.
But have you done it in the big building down the street? Right? That would be what we know, because we don't know what system. 90% of the people listening don't know what system they ran at Kentucky. They don't know his route tree. They don't know the percentage of catches per route, yards per catch, yards after catch. Most people don't know those things about Dane Key. They just don't.
Well, if Nebraska landed Travis Hunter in the transfer portal, you'd assume that he would be one of on this list, wouldn't you?
No, we can't make that assumption, because that's how mistakes are made. That's how mistakes are made. That's how in recruiting and transfer portal, you give a whole lot to people who haven't done it for you. Now, your work has been done. We're not devaluing the work that they've done. I'm just saying, in this discussion, the 5 most productive returning Husker football players.
Well, even in that, I mean, it's kind of interesting to go through. I suppose you go with Dylan, Emmett. You probably get into the backfield there. As far as the defensive backfield, I think Sear Wright would probably belongs in the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
you look up front, maybe you kind of get into some folks there. I don't know. That's what's tough about this whole thing is if you pick five.
But Bach, this is why we get the joy of being able to have these conversations. And I'll say this out loud, that Emmett Johnson rushed for 598 yards last year. 598 yards. How many yards did Ja'Cory Barney create last year?
I don't know.
Right? Like if we're having these discussions, right?
He had 55 receptions. But...
Right? So from a production standpoint, the returning Huskers of importance would be those who have produced 447 yards on 55 catches.
And 130 rushing as well with 3 touchdowns.
Right?
That's where you got in the end zone.
So both right around the 600-yard mark. Right?
Mm-hmm.
In production. So Dylan, Emmett, Ja'Cory, and then defensive, if you said Sierra Wright being productive and returning, who's the leading? Is there a leading tackler returning? Is there Shavers, maybe? Any of the
Javen Wright, if you're counting how many
backs,
years they've been there.
Javen, right. Buddha is certainly in the discussion. Safeties are in play.
Yeah,
right.
Singleton, maybe.
Right. They're in play. And I'm just not sure that it's just that simple. And here's an interesting thing, Bach. For the first time in the 5 years we've been here, we have not spent the entire offseason talking about kickers or punters. Is that a statement that things have gotten better?
not based off last year.
Your laugh just said, it spoke so loud, Bach. Right? Like I want to understand, and it's often in this space that we're in is setting the GPS for where we are. Like, here's where we are. Right? And are we where we think we are? Are we better than that? Or are we relying on new talent to raise the standard of what Husker football is? And if that's so, has that been done? Right? Because if the returning players don't give you all the warm and fuzzies, then you probably need to hope that the new players are going to give you the warm and fuzzies. Bach, do the new players give you the warm and fuzzies?
I mean, some of them do. I mean, to get a Williams Nwaneri out of the portal is huge. If you would have got him out of high school, you'd want to be one of the biggest names on the roster. I think he still is. I think Isaiah Hunter, Dinky, these guys do have at least track records of being good, solid wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Out there. Deshaun McCullough, Marquise Watson Trent. I mean, the man's had over 3 seasons with 100+ tackles. He won Defensive Player of the Year in his conference.
In one system.
So, well, right. I mean, they're going to have to change, but it's. I mean that's different than bringing in a guy that's made 15 tackles and.
But we've brought in people from Alabama, Georgia, Texas, who came in, changed systems, and did not produce at the level that they were producing at before. They're not even producing at the levels they produced at in high school. And we can say that for a whole bunch of transfers.
Oh yeah,
like we can circle a bunch of people that came in. And remember, there are different coordinators and different systems in play than Husker fans are familiar with. We don't know the systems of the two coordinators or the special teams guy. We can guesstimate, but have we seen it enough to know in high repetition, high volume, what these coordinators are going to do with these players?
Not necessarily, not with the personnel you have. It's always New Year's always different.
Okay, this Bach, you just said it. New year, this is different. And again, it's not the mission to get to the right question, to have the answer. It's to get the right question, because I'm not sure what this Husker football team is and where it stands. If Bach, I put you back on the spot based on production. trust, not value, not popularity, where would you put the Husker football program in Husker athletics? How many programs would you rank higher in your trust of them as a fan above Nebraska football? Where does Nebraska football fall? We know it's number one in importance and priority. I'm asking in a matter of trust from the fan base. And Bach, you are the ambassador and spokesperson
Hey, there we go.
for the day of Husker fan base. When we come back, I will ask you, where does, in a matter of trust, as a fan, where do you put Nebraska football? Bach will give us the list when we come back.
4th of July weekend is coming soon, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble your grill so it can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of showers and storms in the morning. Otherwise, decreasing clouds this afternoon. The high around 85. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. Overnight low near 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds. An afternoon high around 89. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, Cordell & Cordell, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68508.
Safety is always at the top of mind at Lincoln Electric System. The safety safety of our employees and the safety of our customers. It's National Safety Month. Visit les.com/safety for tips on all things related to electrical safety.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes a ticket to USC plus Akron or Houston Christian and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. Purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
You're listening to One on One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. We've gone through the textures just to say, so we'll read some of these because Joe says kickers have not been reliable in 10 years. This needs to end yesterday. Sir, you are not incorrect in any of that. We asked the question, and Timmy V says the 5 most important players: Dylan, EJ, Ja'Cory Barney, Sierra Wright, and Van Poppel. Big Bird says the keyword pack. Baseball has lost its luster except for banana ball. Yeah, I mean, all in truth. Neil says if you're talking about the best, you have to talk about Trellick. You have to talk about Trellick. If we're talking, Scaper says his best 5, Harper, Dylan, Emmett, Jordy, and Dane Key. And again, my question about including Dane Key is that, the simplism is in play, is what we know versus what we think we know. And I'm asking us to speak on what we know. Nick Sainert has joined us in the conversation, and sir,
hello.
I think so much of this, right, is a matter of trying to get to the right question about Husker athletics.
Sure.
I asked Bach this question before the break. I'm going to ask you this question as well. But I'll start with Bach because I really want Bach. Trust is the word. Fan trust. What Husker programs do you trust the most as a fan? Sir, your answers, please. Give me as many answers as you can.
Well, I think you think volleyball. I mean, if you're talking about over Nebraska football,
That's one.
Volleyball, wrestling,
2,
bowling,
3,
gymnastics,
4,
probably track and field,
5,
women's basketball,
6,
probably
6.
Yeah, tennis. I'm starting to trust
Right,
tennis. Yeah,
right. They
Peter
made
Kovac.
the tournament.
Yeah,
They made the tournament.
Absolutely.
We have you literally have to say they made the tournament.
Softball, certainly.
Right?
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
That's
There you
8.
go.
You threw 8 out there in a hurry,
Yeah.
and you didn't even specify men's and women's gymnastics.
That's right.
Because the men's program also is in the top 5. So let's say 9, and then at 10 is probably Nebraska football. Is that?
Do you trust football more than men's basketball?
That's what I was thinking. I think it's about on the same field right now.
10A, 10B.
Right? Like, and we landed on Bach and I landed, Nick, we landed on the fact that, of course, the flagship program in the state of Nebraska is Nebraska football. It is the straw that stirs the drink, right? All of that in place. Granted and statement in full. But what it leads me to ask is, where does it put you as a fan that if the most important program does not have the trust of the fan base? Nick?
We have to be so careful here. Because here's the thing. We have to be so careful because, like, think about, you had to preface it. And this is what I always say. You had to preface it of, like, none of us are sitting here saying that football is less important than other. And, like, we always have to preface things with saying we are well aware that football is the main driver.
Yep.
And it's always going to be the main driver.
Yep.
People get all high, on their high horse because it's people start to bring up the revenue piece of it.
Oh.
And in this day and age of college athletics and the revenue sharing model, I'm fascinated to see where Nebraska goes. Like, I think we're still waiting on real, not transparency, because Troy Dan's given us some of that, but also just the idea of, like, what sports, frankly, get left out or added, because we do know that there's going to be a women's sport added at some point. And what sport is that?
That was my 12:30 conversation.
We don't need to
right.
go there.
It was my 12:30 conversation.
Yeah.
Well, because
but, like, as you peel back the onion, there's just more and more.
That's why we started with the outer skin.
Yeah.
Because you have to determine what's most important. And if you say to me that if you're trying to describe one in the recruiting game in the transfer portal to tell other people give me the ideal Husker athlete. Give me the best of what it is. Listen, nobody's coming here to be midline. Everybody's coming here to be their best version of what a Husker can be. And if you're pointing that out, that the Huskers who are currently here, who have come here and excelled, developed, excelled, and produced at the highest level, Nick, who are those 5 individual Husker athletes who have come here and set the standard for 1, what a Husker is, 2, what Husker success looks like, 3, the icon for what you want future Huskers to shoot for, aspire to, and want to be like? Nick, who are those 5?
So I think you start volleyball, because I agree with Bach. You start volleyball, you look at players this year, it's going to be Harper Murray, and Andy Jackson. I think like going back a couple of years, Lexi Rodriguez is on that list. 100%. Lexi would be number 1,
right?
I think, yeah. Then you look at wrestling. I think you look at
what about Rebecca Allen?
Yeah, that was the like. Once again, it's you're grasping at straws.
Well,
for
but
the difference. So then maybe there's
she
3.
has the all conference.
Sure. So maybe there's 3 then. And I would just from a sheer experience standpoint, you put Rebecca Alec in over maybe an Andy Jackson, just from an experience standpoint. But once again, like, it's the difference is so minuscule that, and the margin is so slim that I think you could go with any answer there. And then I think you look at wrestling, just because the 2 national champions, like Ridge Love and Antrell, I think those are the 2.
And Brock Hardy has to be.
Yes. Yeah,
he's a bad breakfast away from being the 3rd national champion.
And then not to mention, like, looking at the future of it,
right?
it's hard to see that that's
He's
any
enrolled.
difference. When we have this,
He has enrolled and he's
Yes.
in the building.
Yes, when we have this conversation on Tuesday, June 30th of 2026 next year, it's hard to imagine that the 5 don't come from the same programs.
That AJ Ferrari is in the discussion.
Yeah.
He's in the program and he's in the discussion. Think of all the national champions in track and field, all of the Big Ten champions in track and field, and the best bowler in the country resides in Lincoln, Nebraska, right? The award was there. As a matter of fact, they had 3 of the top 7. So,
Yeah.
There's no other sport where you can say 3 of the best 7 in the country reside in Lincoln, Nebraska. So you have to, if the standard is national championship, Big Ten championship versus popularity and importance to the bottom line, we're talking 2 entirely different conversations. Who's your 5 most important athletes to Nebraska athletics, Nick?
5 most important. I think Harper Murray's in there. I think Dylan Raiola's there. Man, that's a different conversation. As much as I want to, I think Jordy Ball is in there as well.
Number 1A or 1B player in the country.
Yeah, no doubt. And she was the 3rd one I listed,
Right.
which that's a knock on me. I think then the other 2 have to come from football, just because from the value that they bring in terms of the bottom line, like you said. Let me ask you a question, DP. Is it possible, because you always ask all the time about priority, is it possible for a program, and maybe this isn't Nebraska, but a program to go, even though we are middle of the pack, that is still our priority?
You better be careful.
and that's what I wanted to get to.
You better be careful, because standards travel. They travel in the same space, because remember, they share space. They share meals. They share gyms. They share revenue.
Yeah.
Right? So if you go into this thing and you say to Bo Bassett, come to Nebraska. Well, okay. I'm trying to be the best. If you're Bo Bassett, you've made a statement from day one. I'm trying to be the best.
That's right.
So I'm only coming there if you're trying to be the best. And if the best is, you can point to Ridge Lovett, Antrell Taylor, Brock Hardy, now AJ Ferrari, different conversations. You can say that in volleyball because, hey, wait, player of the year, repetitive, high level, national fan base, renowned, sellout streak, whole yada, yada. You could say that in bowling because you took the 2 best high school bowlers in the country who immediately said, we're going to where the last 2 or 3 bowlers of the year have been. You can't say that for football. And if you're pushing that, now that's the goal and mission. You need for Nebraska football and Nebraska football players to be at that level. If it's just because you're football, you get more money, then success and winning isn't in. It's not in the instruction.
Yeah, that's where, like, there was a comment that you made just a couple of minutes ago, and that it kind of raised the question in my mind regarding are we at a spot to where, with the revenue sharing, with the college athletics changing, like you said, to where it's programs will sit and go, look, we know we aren't nationally competitive in that sport, but it's the one that makes us the most money. So we continuously just put endless amounts of dollars and effort and energy.
How long will the
time.
fan base do that?
And that's my point, because then to build off of what you said with Bo Bassett or any top level recruit, it's okay. The individual program might be ready for me to be the best, but is the overall athletic department in a spot to where they're ready for me to be the best, or they're ready to house the best athlete in that specific sport? That's, in this case, not football.
So, Bach, if we said this, that the basic standard for Big Ten preseason football and the rankings, or at least the prognostication spaces, that Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Oregon are the standard. And this is the point that I really need to land on, that's the standard. That Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Ohio, Oregon are the standard for the Big Ten. And if you're rating Nebraska and you're talking about Nebraska's standard, its independent standing and standard, does it say that a transfer from Michigan or Michigan State or Maryland would choose Nebraska for any other reason other than money? And that's when you have to go, I need to scratch my head and figure out if I'm saying the right thing out loud in public.
It's crazy, and I know we're up against the clock. I wanted to bring this by you. Is the co-founder of the Ohio State Booster Collective, the foundation it's called, made a quote to the Wall Street Journal earlier today that said the Buckeyes roster for college football this year is going to be $35 million. Out loud. That's different type of money.
Loud. That's NFL money.
But that also brings national championships.
That's why you're in the discussion.
Yeah.
And that's what, Bach, if we're saying to somebody, I'm only going to date you because you're rich. Not because you're good, not because you're going to be the best me. It's because you're rich. Bach, your answer would be probably not the best choice.
Not ideal.
Right? Not ideal. All right, Nick. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bach, we'll throw it break. We'll pick up the conversation here on One-on-One.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, Cordell & Cordell, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68508.
Safety is always at the top of mind at Lincoln Electric System. The safety of our employees and the safety of our customers. It's National Safety Month. Visit les.com/safety for tips on all things related to electrical safety.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes a ticket to USC plus Akron or Houston Christian and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. Purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Fuhrer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Fuhrer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com. Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Final segment, hour one. Thank Nick Sainer for joining in. Bach for man on the board. And for all of you being active on the text line, we'll read these texts, go to break, come back, say hour number two. Greg and Tilden says the standard has been with volleyball for some time at Nebraska now. Matt Rule is here because, as stated by DP, the standard hasn't traveled to the football program as desired. The clock is ticking on production that equates to a changed standard. At some point, the standard has to match production. Otherwise, it is not a true standard. It is just an idea. It's a concept. Old Dad says, so does Nebraska have to be closer to Ohio State and having to spend more money to win? On your opinions, Bach? Ohio State, their collective, or one of them, one of their collectives, said that the current roster is currently at 35 million-ish. Bach, in any world, if the Buckeyes are the standard for how business is going to be done in the Big Ten, can Nebraska compete if it is not spending on the same level?
It'd be tough. I mean, we see this like in Major League Baseball or, non-salary cap. You can do it maybe for a year. You can have a surprise run. You can have, just a perfect combination, a group of guys come together. But about sustainability, can they do that from year to year while spending, $15 million less, whatever it is, than Ohio State? Probably not.
You are generous. You're putting Nebraska in the 20 million category.
Well, I was just going with the rev share.
Do you think, but the rev share has to cover every sport.
Yeah.
All the sports. And if you're telling me you're giving the other 19 or 21 programs $2.2 million.
Well, that's what I think.
Thank you very much. You're on your own.
Most of the numbers think about like 70% football, something like that.
Yeah, it's a thing, right? And that number. And then here's the other perspective on that, or at least another tentacle to it, that Ohio State's not going to be a standalone in the amount of money they're putting into their football program. So if Ohio State is in the 35 million-ish, that their neighbors aren't going to be out financed. We also know that Nike in Oregon is not going to be out financed. We know that Penn State is not going to be out financed. We know that there are at least 5 other programs in the Big Ten that will spend more money. We haven't even talked about the neighbors in Iowa. We haven't talked about the most resembling, fraternal twin in Wisconsin. You're talking about the standard being 35 million. And that's just the voiced public statement. If they're telling you that the roster is spending 35 million, Bach, how much do you actually think they're spending?
That could be more, could be less. They might be trying to flex a little bit too.
I doesn't strike me as flexing when you play in the national championship for several years. You're just kind of there.
Still can't beat Michigan.
Right. And then yeah, what do you think Texas is spending?
Oh yeah, I mean
Alabama.
Yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah. Texas Tech.
Texas A&M.
There's teams
Texas A&M.
surprising
SMU
teams.
and Baylor are spending more.
Yeah.
Right? So again, in the conversation that you have to be careful that if you're not selling standard of development and production, ultimately production will come into play because otherwise you're just offering money. And if you're just offering money, you're even in the Big Ten, you're in the middle third, maybe in the bottom third, depending on the sport. So you have to be careful what you say out loud. That's why we're asking the questions. We'll throw the break, come back, hour number 2. Bach, we'll flip the script and we'll ask the question. Two-sided, most popular Husker athletes all time, and most important Husker athletes all time. Bach will give us his list when we come back.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Join us for Early Break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the brand new Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket. We'll showcase the brand new hotel and preview its grand opening. That's Early Break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Führer's cheese spread. So he left at once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Führer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of showers and storms in the morning. Otherwise, decreasing clouds this afternoon with a high around 85. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. Overnight low near 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and an afternoon high around 89. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Is your child 7 to 8 years old and wanting to get involved in competitive baseball or softball? The Nebraska Dominators have been active in the youth sports community since 1994 and are currently holding tryouts for their 7U and 8U baseball and softball teams. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more info today and provide your player the path to a successful and enjoyable youth sports experience with the help of the Nebraska Dominators.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
An award-winning softball season deserves a celebration. Don't miss your chance to congratulate Jordy Ball in person. Join the team at Midwest Bank for a special meet and greet on July 16th at their Jamie Lane location as they recognize her incredible achievements. Bring your friends, your team spirit, and your favorite gear for Jordy to sign, and it all kicks off at 4 p.m. They can't wait to see you there. Get all the details at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
If you're working in your yard, remember never to place landscaping structures and fences too close to above-ground electrical equipment. It's unsafe and could cost you financially. Visit les.com for a complete fence and landscaping installation guide.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com. Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
Boom! In your face. Hour 2, one-on-one. Character will be back tomorrow. I'll be here on Wednesday. Character on Thursday. We'll be running replays on July 4th, Friday. Craig, what's up? Appreciate you hitting us up on the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Appreciate you guys being active in it for hour 1. I'll ask you to be active in it in hour 2 as well. You can follow on all the live video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, LO Channel 961, and the Ticket app. If you haven't downloaded it, do so that we can go where you go. You get all the content. Simple deal. you should have it downloaded. And as we head into football season, please do, because we will have multiple things going on, and you'll be able to choose. And it'll be much easier on the app. I'm just letting you know it'll be easier on the app as well. You can follow on Amazon Prime as well. We have been talking, Jake Bachhoven is with me today, and we have been talking about standards. And I know that in sports, sometimes the offseason is to just ask for a Mount Rushmore. And I think that's too flawed. That's too Bush. That's too lowest common denominator. Who you root for is one thing. Why you root for them is a statement of standard. Expectation, trust, right? Who are you giving your emotional value to? And often it's set into this thing that you have to say why you root for a thing. And is it a fair question to say that there has to be a level of trust for you to give your 100% emotional availability to a program organization, right? or does that not matter to you? Are you a loyalist in full, that it doesn't matter how good they are or how bad they are? You root for who you root for. What's that for you?
Well, yeah, I think it depends on the folks. Like, sometimes you don't have the most. Again, I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan. I don't have the most trust in the owners, the Bidwells, to make the right moves to make the Arizona Cardinals competitive.
Yeah.
But then there's other organizations. Boston Celtics have the utmost trust in them to make put a competitive product out there. So sometimes that kind of can depend on ownership. But I will say this: I think and it's interesting. So, kind of diverting from the question a little bit, but from Nebraska's side, I think there used to be a huge level of trust, obviously with Tom Osborne, even Bill Byrne, the athletic director, all that sort of stuff. And I think that trust has melted quite a bit over the years, and especially for me now, it's just kind of like we'll see what kind of happens. I don't trust that everything's the best decision making over there. Not that it's the worst. Again, they're moving up in the athletic department rankings, but as far as football goes, there's been a lot of bad decisions that I've seen over the last 20 years that leads me not to trust that they're making the best decision on every next decision they make.
I think it's interesting, right? Because I went through it with the Commanders. I was out loud. Same with the Nationals. As a matter of fact, for me, I'm a standards guy. As a player, I was a standards guy. That as a coach, I'm a standards guy. You have to be who you are all the time, or at least attempt to be. And nobody's ideal. Like, nobody does it all the time. That's just not humanly possible. But you try to get to that as much as possible, and then work from that. And when I saw that they weren't operating based on the standard, the production didn't matter. It was how were you approaching trying to get your standard identified and kept. And I just wasn't buying in. New ownership comes in. They knocked down a lot of the nonsense that was there. They pulled a lot of the bad wiring, changed the plumbing, gave you more digital outlook. And you went, oh, okay, this looks like a house that I could sleep in. This looks like a house that's safe for me. And I often wonder whether Husker fans feel like it's a thing I heard. And Bach, tell me if I'm wrong, that you have to, as a fan, you want to root to the level that the organizational program is working at. Like, you want to feel like the Huskers are working at a level worthy of your emotion. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely, especially like, again, in the glory years, people would almost build their identity around the program and say, well, this is a hardworking football team, and it's a hardworking state.
Oh, boy.
And so you'd really... and look at me, I've built my whole personality off it. I've worked covering the Huskers for 10 years,
right?
Plus. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of people will directly connect themselves. But again, at times, as I said earlier, I've somewhat separated myself from that over the years because I don't feel like I'm a 5-7 person. Maybe I feel a little better than that.
Isn't that may be one of the great statements of all, right? That Husker fans cannot feel like, you know what, we're not 5-7 fans. We're not
No.
5 and 7 people. You know, I'm not sure we're 7 and 6 people. You don't show up in a 7 and 6 kind of way.
You aim for more than that, certainly.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you have to feel like, you know what? We're working towards being a 9-win, 10-win. I'm a 10-win person. Like, I think I deserve 10-win. I support, I invest, I show up in 10-win at 10-win level, maybe 11-win. We know that Nebraska football fans are a national championship blue blood group of individuals. Is that still true?
Oh, absolutely. And you can argue about the sellout streak. I like when we do this. It's the same thing like when Bo Pelini freaked out about a few thousand people leaving the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, if you want to look at a few empty seats or a few thousand people leaving, don't mind that there's 76 to 80,000 people still there
Still
supporting,
there battling away with
even
you.
though the product doesn't match.
That part, the accountability part is so vital. It is so vital in these conversations to say, the program has to be accountable to the fan base in full. And you can say, listen, it's all about us, right? We've heard that. Pay no attention to social media. Pay no attention to the fans. Hey, everything you have is based on that. Every single thing, all the dollars, all the revenue, all of that is based on this fan base not being a 5 and 7 fan base. A 5 and 7 fan base looks like games at Northwestern. A 5 and 7 fan base looks like the stadium in College Park College Park, Maryland, on a rainy Saturday in November. 5 and 7 looks like Indiana every year before Kurt got there, right? We saw Indiana. We knew Husker fans have been in the buildings of these 5 and 7 fans. You call Purdue. We know what 5 and 7 fans look like. And if you're not it, then it becomes, listen, this is who we are. And this is what the expectation and accountability has to match. It has to be all of those. Like it's fantastic. The one thing I loved about high school coaching, it's kind of like being a stand-up comic. I got feedback immediately. I couldn't hide from it. I couldn't hide from the parents. I couldn't hide from the boosters, right? Because the boosters, as they come and hang their banners up on the fence before a game, right? And, hey, get him tonight, coach. Good job with the kids, coach. Hey, big opportunity tonight, coach. And then afterwards, when they're taking it down and you're standing there and you've got to face them, or when you walk out of the locker room, there's a level of accountability that happens on the immediate level, and especially when you're talking local accountability, that Husker fans, this is 2 million strong, connected. And they will tell you the most important thing the athletic department can do for us. Remember that conversation we were having an hour ago? The most important thing you can do to pay off and to show off for these 2 million Husker fans would be work to the standard. Be a Husker. And a Husker's not 5 and 7. A Husker's not 5 and 7. And you have to be careful in saying a Husker's 7 and 6, because there would be some that would say that's good enough. But you don't walk into the building cheering at 46%. Right? You only cheered 46% of the plays? 50% of the plays? 57% of the plays. That's not who Husker fans are. That's not who, and they've never been that. Even when this program won very few games. And for all the other programs, it's still, again, a basketball program that has never won an NCAA tournament game. PBA is the spot, bro. It is a spot. Those fans deserve an NCAA win. And mind you, they would never get it in the building. But it deserves it. You imagine the Husker fan base basketball fan base, on the night in which Nebraska wins an NCAA tournament. Vindication, validation, how about that? Because then the conversation changes about who Nebraska fans are. Winning a national title in volleyball is a statement of who Nebraska fans are. It allows them to make the statement out loud. This is who we are. This is who we are. Who we aren't, we are not 5-7. We are not. I'm not sure 7-6 is good enough, but I can't say that for Husker fans. And Bach, that's why I asked you, are you a 5-7 fan?
No, I don't think so. And I think especially, your basketball points there, Nebraska is like top 15 routinely in attendance every year, and yet still doesn't have a win. So, Nebraska's in the NCAA tournament, Nebraska's fan base is the one thing that has held strong over all these years is the sellout streak. And again, I don't like to get into a little bit, okay, there's an empty seat here and there. Is the fan base filling up that stadium, filling up Pinnacle Bank Arena, volleyball day. It's impressive, and it's fun too because it's interesting because it's not common for too many college programs. There's a lot of programs or just places, areas in the country where pro sports is it, and they look at you funny when you say I follow college sports. They say why? I don't get it. Why would you do that? And that's the kind of excitement you'd like. Well, come see Lincoln. Come see what the care factor that is here for this college sport and this college program. But it's just been harder to invite people as of late.
Right. Like it's the thing. Like you know how you respond to other fan bases when you meet them. Right? When you meet them, immediately, Ohio State football fan? There's a certain level of, like, you kind of have to, Michigan fan. Right? And it's not exactly even how you feel in your house. It's when you go to their house as yourself. Like, how do you walk into the big house? Fully huskered up. How is your chest out, chin up, smile on your face, or are you just kind of hoping to get through the crowd without taking a beat down? And knowing that you never want to feel that way. And you know how we feel on game day in Lincoln when other fans from other schools, especially in the Big Ten, show up here. Look, the out-of-conference fans that show up here in weeks 1 and 2, think of how you think about them. Aw. Right? Aw. Welcome to real football. Cool. Like, you imagine when Houston Christian shows up in Lincoln? If you see somebody wearing a Houston Christian logoed shirt or jacket or jersey on that game day, what are you going to think of that? Aw, you want a beer? You need a drink? Hey, I've got a hamburger for you. When Michigan comes the next week, different vibe. Different vibe. You got to have your hands ready when Michigan show up, because Michigan walking in your crib like the crib belonged to them. And you can't like it. As a Husker football fan, you cannot like that feeling. So what you want is the program to fight for you so that you don't have to feel that way. Because they just got here. You've been here your whole life. Those 105 just got here. Some of them haven't been here. There's a portion that have, and not even all the coaching staff has been here. So they don't understand how Bach feels unless Bach tells him in full. And then all the Bachs tell him, hey, man, that ain't cool. Because that's not who we are. And I'll root for you like crazy. I'll be the best fan you ever saw if you give me that. And I think it's important. I think it's so important, right? Old Dad says Nebraska fans are 10-win people. But if you said that now, I'm still believing Nebraska fans are blue blood and elite in every way and fashion, other than holding people accountable for that. Because I wouldn't trade being a Nebraska fan with Michigan, Ohio State. I wouldn't. I understand it, but there aren't 10 other sports programs. You can say LSU. Okay, I get it. Okay, hey, I understand being down on the bayou on a Saturday. Look, cool colors, cool tiger, right? Like, great stadium. Oh, okay, I understand that. If you want to put that in the conversation, cool. Being a Fighting Irish fan, I get the mystique and the decades of excellence and the representation, right? The Fighting Irish traveled beyond South Bend, Indiana, and made South Bend, Indiana, this small town in the middle of the country that has, we can't even tell you what their number one product is other than the Fighting Irish. So that's what's happened for Lincoln, and that's what Lincoln deserves. But how many other places are ideal or on that level? I would much rather, I've said this, I would much rather be at a full Memorial Stadium during a Big Ten game, a meaningful Big Ten game, than being at the Horseshoe. I would. And I have a bunch of family that's Buckeye fans. I get it. But I wouldn't say that. I just understand that being a Buckeye fan has a little more cachet now than being a Husker fan. Washington Huskies fans, it's a great game day experience. Would I trade it? No. USC, for all of the pomp and circumstance, all the pageantry, right? All the celebrities and all the Bach, you've been in the building, right? You've been in that building.
Yeah.
Game day in Lincoln for a productive, good Husker football team. You wouldn't trade it.
No.
Wouldn't trade it. So the expectation is this: that you hold people to the standards, and then you root for the standards, and then when the standard isn't met, you say so.
Let me ask you this, because it does. I mean, I like the whole conversation. It's definitely, especially over the last 10 years, we need to raise up and play well. But let's not forget, too, this is a program that's fired 2 9-win coaches over that time period. So that standard at one time was so high that it was like, not even this is good enough. And that might have ultimately hurt Nebraska maybe in the long run rather than help them, because now they've found themselves. Now, I always argue too, it's not the firing of the previous coach, it's the next move you make, right? You made the wrong hire afterwards. But that standard may have hurt Nebraska over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are 100% now, and of course the hot news as we're talking Nebraska football is that Nebraska beats out Baylor and Mississippi State for 3-star offensive lineman Leon Noel Jr. And that's a big win. That's a big win because you're competing. I mean, but that also tells you the space that you're in. That's one thing that I will give recruiting credit for, is that recruiting will help you identify where you stand amongst others, and then what level are you competing at. So if you tell me that Nebraska football is now competing on the level in recruits with Baylor and Mississippi State, that seems appropriate to me. I don't think it's ideal, but I think it's appropriate because Baylor has money. Baylor has had some success, but they've also had some failures and problems. Mississippi State is a cool place to play on game night, cowbells and all, right? Keys in the tank and all that whole shebang. But it's still not Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Penn State. Fair?
Oh, absolutely.
Fair. So great news. Again, Nebraska. Can I say that the young man that they got over the weekend, the wide receiver, gave me more of the warm and fuzzies than anybody not Dylan Raiola. That receiver gave me more of the warm and fuzzies watching his film, and then reading what other coaches who had coached against him said about him. It gave me more of the warm and fuzzies. But then again, from somewhere else, it just lets you know that Nebraska was competing with Power 4, big time successful Power 4 programs and getting this star receiver. And he's a star receiver on the high school level. But it's a sign that steps are being taken, recruiting is being done, the work is being put in. But it helps you get eyes on where Nebraska is, where it was, where it is, and where you want it to be. The GPS is real. The GPS, I use it. I don't use it enough. The GPS is a truth teller. Where does Nebraska want to be? Bach, where do you want Nebraska football to be?
Playing competitively for the conference, playing to get into the playoffs.
Right?
Yeah.
So then from where you are, from where you were to where you are, how you got here gives you an understanding of how you're going to move forward. And then from here to where you want to go, competing for Big Ten titles, getting into college playoffs, how are they going to get there? And whether it be development, recruiting, standard, talent, coaching, whatever it's going to be, that's what needs to be in the GPS. And that's why we have these discussions. We'll throw a break. We'll come back. I'll ask Bach for his all-time Huskers. The 5 most important Husker athletes of all time. Bach, you ready?
I'm getting ready.
We'll have at it when we come back.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One on One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on The Ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
An award-winning softball season deserves a celebration. Don't miss your chance to congratulate Jordy Ball in person. Join the team at Midwest Bank for a special meet and greet on July 16th at their Jamie Lane location as they recognize her incredible achievements. Bring your friends, your team spirit, and your favorite gear for Jordy to sign, and it all kicks off at 4 p.m. They can't wait to see you there. Get all the details at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Join us for Early Break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the brand new Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket. We'll showcase the brand new hotel and preview its grand opening. That's Early Break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, 14,000 off list, or starting at 37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. 14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at 37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Batter up! Join us this summer at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed Salt Dogs games running now through August. Visit saltdogs.com for updates on everything you need to know about weekly promotions, giveaways, and special events. That's where you'll find the latest updates to make sure you catch all the excitement and never miss a homestand you want to attend. Haymarket Park is your ticket to fun all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bachkind, sir. It's amazing to say Bach is about to give us his 5 most important Huskers. 5 most important Husker athletes in specifics. And it does not have to be current. It can be all time. As a matter of fact, it probably should be. The people who built Husker Athletics. The people who Husker Athletics was built on their shoulders, their production, their name. The names, Bach, matter. And the production matters, right? Because you had to produce something in order to be considered amongst the greats. So this is not a Mount Rushmore. This is simply a statement of, in your mind, and I understand that it could go in 2 different directions because it could be the 5 most Husker, the 5 most important Huskers to you, Bach, the people who made you a Husker fanatic, right? Which may be a different question. So, sir, if you would please, your 5 most important Huskers.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting too as you kind of go along that path too. What does important mean, right? Is George Flippin breaking the color barrier for the football team?
Yeah.
You know, is that might be a different list than who helped Nebraska win championships
And
right?
what
So-
he went through.
right?
What he
absolutely.
went through. I mean, people, I don't know how many Husker athletes were boycotted and petitioned.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know, and still play. Like, that affected the way business is being done even today, 100 years later. So, Bot?
So yeah, I mean, kind of putting that. I guess I did my list more on kind of important to winning and building tradition and such like that.
Yep.
I would say Tommy Frazier's got to be probably number 1.
Okay.
And it's interesting because obviously Brooke Behringer helped quite a bit in Tommy's absence in 1994. But you just think about that 3-year run that we all love so much, right? 93, 94, 95. And the importance of Tommy Frazier in that. That's why many regard him as the best Husker football player of all time.
Is he the best Husker athlete of all
I think you'd have to put him close. I mean, you have to put him up there. Again, it's kind of interesting too when you do these lists because Nebraska is different than like is he a better athlete or did he have a better career if you do it in totality than many Huskers that had plenty of success at the next level. Might not be the best athlete per se in totality, but to Nebraska, I think he was. So I put him there. And then, I kind of think of that era. And then I also think about the 70s, right? And that's where Johnny Rodgers sticks out, obviously, as the Heisman Trophy winner that helped with those titles. Was not a first-team All-American in their first title. Jerry Murtaugh was. So you could have kind of have an argument there. But Johnny Rodgers kind of sticks out to me as deserving of that spot. I think as you start to kind of think about other sports, again, it can kind of be, it can get difficult because there's a lot of championships that have been won around here. But, you could think of like a Jordan Burroughs or somebody like that in the wrestling program who kind of stands out. So I could put him there. And that's why I kind of get to Nebraska baseball. Is there, Darren Erstad was the first pick. You could definitely go with him. I wouldn't have a problem with it, but did his teams win all that much? Alex Gordon was, a top pick and his teams won and went to the College World Series. So I think I'd probably include Alex Gordon in there. Like I said, probably Jordan Burroughs. And then at number 5, it's tough because I would love to get into a basketball discussion. And there are discussions about who's the most important Husker basketball player of all time. But again, the program just hasn't had that moment. They're the only program that just has not had the moment of knowing what it's like to win in a meaningful postseason game. Not to say the Crown or the NIT championship
Big 8 tournament
are wins.
right.
Right.
Win is a win.
But is the Big 8 tournament, and so Strick would definitely be in this conversation, but is that equivalent to, all these other championships like we're talking about in national championships and other sports and certainly in football? So I'd have a problem getting there. I do think, you don't want to overlook the Heisman Trophy winners as well. So you can maybe make your pick between, they already included Johnny Rodgers. Rozier was certainly important to those 80s teams. For me, I'd probably go Crouch because I'm at least a little bit more familiar with it. I lived through that. And I do wonder, one, what would happen? Well, there's several in that era. What would happen if Tom Osborne stuck around for Eric Crouch's tenure? That would be interesting. What would happen if they had a playoff in 1999? Nebraska was the number 3 team that year. They could have been, obviously maybe could have beaten Florida State or Virginia Tech at the top there. As we've seen this past year, Ohio State, what 6 seed, something like that. So certainly that would be one of my thoughts there. So I think Eric Crouch probably would round out my top 5.
Would the Sioux team have made the playoffs?
The Sioux team?
Yeah.
I don't think so. By the time they beat Arizona, that's when they kind of catapulted to number 14.
Yeah.
Now they would have made it if they would have beaten Texas in the 1 second. If you put that 1 second back on, then the Big 12 champs makes it. Not only would they make it, according to last year's poll, they might have a top 4 seed.
Would the 96 team?
96 team would have made it, yeah.
right? So there's several teams.
There's a lot of Tom Osborne's teams that would have been. You put a 14-team playoff. I think maybe one or two teams wouldn't have made it.
Right. Like it becomes interesting, right? That timing matters. And that if you said, for corrective sake, the standard is finishing in the top. How many top 5 finishes were there under Osborne? Because I think that's the number, right? You could say top 8, but if you said top 5, you're really pointing out how good those programs were.
I could do the math. I mean, it wouldn't take too long.
Yeah, like well, because again, in today's age, with the way things are being handled, I think also an interesting thing would be to consider how many all conference player of the years were there at Nebraska. So there's a ton of athletes on track athletes who won the Big Ten title. There are a couple of gymnasts that were Big Ten Gymnasts of the Year. There were certainly, how many softball players were all conference players, were conference players of the year? Would be another one.
Well, and then volleyball. I mean, it's just who do you pick from there? Jordan Larson.
Well, but that's the discussion, right? That if Lexi Rodriguez, Jordan Larson are a part of the conversation, Jordy Ball, has she stepped into being the best softball player ever? Is that, or is that Peaches? Like, how would you break that down? Where does Jordy Ball fall in the GOAT conversation for softball?
Yeah, at least in my lifetime, I would think that she's been there, at least when, my tracking it. Like you said, Peaches James would have an argument, but I'd have to go back and look numbers wise. I mean, Nebraska just hasn't had the best player in the country. So, or won A1B, like you said earlier.
Would if we said who's the most important baseball player, is it Erstad or Gordon or somebody else? Because quite frankly, here's news, and I do want to share it because I'm a fan. Bryce Matthews has been selected to the All-Stars Future Game. He will play in the All-Star Game as representative of the Houston Astros. He will join a group of 25 prospects on the American League roster. Of course, they'll go against 25 from the National League. The game will be held in Atlanta, nationally televised, on July 12th at 3 o'clock. You can watch the former Husker. Bryce is AAA and has been balling for the Astros, hitting 285. Currently second in the Pacific Coast League in triples, third in stolen bases, 5th in walks, 10th in OBP. He's having quite the year with 10 bombs, 11 doubles, and 30 RBI with 23 stolen bases. So he's playing for the Sugar Land affiliate of the Astros. But who's the best baseball player?
Like I said, I would probably go Alex Gordon because his team's had the College World Series success, which is the pinnacle of what Nebraska baseball's been able to do. But yeah, there have been some good names over the years. Again, I think Darren Erstad would come right up there. But I'd lean Gordon in that case. And then hopefully, like you said, Bryce Matthews currently too on an 11-game hitting streak, 18-game on base streak. Because don't forget about those walks, which he's doing a great job. You mentioned there, 5th in the league there. So he's just doing
10
well.
bombs. The power thing showing up at the AAA level is important, and again, an opportunity for him. We also, if I think Brett Baker, our dear friend Brett Baker, was pointing out that last night, or sometime in the last 2 weeks, he was watching John Oliver, and Max Anderson showed up. Max Anderson made it to HBO as he did a feature, so pretty cool along the way. The most important women athletes. And if you said to me that you started with volleyball, but consider gymnastics, consider softball, consider basketball, Bach, where do you land? Who comes to mind? And you can never be wrong. So who comes to mind as the best or most important Husker female athletes?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jordy Ball's in that discussion now as we're going through it. But I do think, the volleyball, there's just so many names. What I love about Nebraska volleyball is they put up all their All-American banners everywhere. It's just littered everywhere throughout Bob Devaney Sports Center and the Coliseum before that. My first introduction to that was probably Gracie Sapiro back in the, when they won the 2000 championship. I believe she was on that team. So, you almost got to go like I did with baseball. Once you get to the level of championships, that kind of has to kind of put you over in the most important list, because that's ultimately the ultimate team goal, right? So I'd look at some of those gals that ultimately won championships at Nebraska. Jordan Larson is the name that kind of sticks out to me at the top, but yeah, I have to kind of look through it. And like you said, there's so many names that are probably not coming to mind, again, because of just the time frame that it happened before my time, or just not a front of mind that would have an argument in there as well.
Willie says this on the text line. Says, you have to, the people that got him interested: Andre Smith, Jack Moore, Combo, Turner Gill, Rulon Gardner, Merlene Ote, Gordo. Those are all fair. We forget how important Rulon Gardner was and is. I would still say that Jordan Burroughs is the GOAT wrestler. I don't think that's much of a reach, but that there are people in the conversation. So if you had Jordan Larson as the GOAT, that Lexi Rodriguez and et cetera are some folks who are also in the conversation, and you're not wrong in thinking about it. Where do you put Lawrence Phillips?
Boy, that's a tough one. Certainly, you'll ask anybody that watched him play. That's the discussion is, well, there's this and that, but man, was he good, right? So you put him in there. I think that you put him in. I don't know if he's in this conversation, right?
But if Sue's in the conversation for being the best and just not winning the Heisman, Lawrence Phillips has to be in that conversation.
The problem with Lawrence Phillips, in my mind, is that Amon Green is a little bit underrated throughout his career.
100%.
Because, and I mean this, because he was 1,000-yard back for the '95 team, despite not, kind of starting midway through, right? So was able to replace Lawrence Phillips. So to a degree, replaceability would have went there. They might, probably would have won, I suppose, without Lawrence Phillips on that roster. Maybe I'd get in hot water talking to VJ or somebody about that. But then the other thing is, and then 96, 97, if he would have came back for his senior year, he would have broken every record. And I'm not sure if they fall to 9-4 that year, which was a big deal at the time, right? I think Amon Green might have been, if he would have came back for his senior season in these conversations, certainly as well.
I don't disagree that that's who he was in the space. And it's fascinating. There are just people. I'm not sure you could pick 5 linemen. I don't think you can pick 5 offensive linemen, but doesn't mean I'm not going to ask you.
Yeah.
So Bach, when we come back, I'll ask you from the pipeline longevity over the history of this thing, and you have to go back to the 70s and determine who you need. 5 blockers. You don't need it. You don't have to put them by position. You just need 5 blockheads to clear paths for these great runners and quarterbacks. Bach will give us that list when we come back.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild will be open on the 4th of July, serving up our award-winning barbecue. Pick up a slab of slow-smoked ribs and a family pack on the way to your celebration. They come loaded with your choice of meats and sides, complete with buns and our famous Hog Wild sauce. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln. But don't be late, we close at 8.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Join us for early break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the brand new Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket. We'll showcase the brand new hotel and preview its grand opening. That's early break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of showers and storms in the morning. Otherwise, decreasing clouds this afternoon. The high around 85. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. Overnight low near 60. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds. And an afternoon high around 89. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Attention baseball and softball players. The Nebraska Dominators are looking to add players to their baseball and softball teams for the 2026 season. Tryouts are happening now for all age groups, ranging from 7 years old to 14 and under for baseball and 7 years old to 18 and under for softball. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more information today.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah, every now and then during the break, Bach gets an education. I think Bach has learned over 5 years that there's certain corners you just don't go into. There are things that happen in sports and in life, and you just go, okay. The naivete is beautiful because you can't even imagine having to consider some of the things that go on in sports. And there's the reality. So we will finish this wonderful 2 hours, and I appreciate all the text and all the input about, and it's a classroom for me to hear Husker fans speak about it rather than my perception of it, to hear Husker fans tell you what and who is important to them, whether standards matter, accountability, talent, etc. Bach, you get to choose 5 Husker offensive linemen. 5. any era to win a national title, who are the 5?
I think you've probably got to go for Nebraska. There's a trophy named after Mr. Remington, so I think Dave Remington probably has a pretty good argument. Dean Steinkuhler, his running mate for a year or two there, certainly could be in the conversation. I think Bob Brown, although it predates maybe the championship,
Robert
might be the best Husker NFL player of all time. I think he's in that conversation. Aaron Taylor, I think was an All-American at 2 different positions, so you got some versatility there. And the 5th one, that's kind of interesting because there's so many good guys to pick from.
You are leaving. The second team wins a Super Bowl.
They could, yeah.
The second 5 is good enough to win a Super Bowl. So, but who's your 5th?
There's a lot of good options. I think I'll go Will Shields, another guy that had a lot of success in the NFL and just predated the 90s teams that won all those championships.
Who's going to defend them? You get 5 defensive linemen. You get 5 defensive linemen.
Oh, I'll get 5 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Sue and Wistrom would make a lot of sense here.
And they're going against your offensive 5. So I'm just letting you know, like that's you got to have some meat and potatoes there, bro. Sue, Wistrom.
Yeah.
Does Trev make your list?
As a rusher, I think so. Even though he was technically a
Peterborough.
linebacker.
Did the Peterborough make your list?
They could. I'm trying to think about through the years because I don't want to look past history here.
Uh-huh.
So I think I'm missing. I just can't even think of his name from the 70s team. That was so good.
Glover.
22 tie. Yeah, Rich Glover. Sorry.
Glover.
Yeah, Glover's got to be in there.
Yep.
So I got Sue, Glover, Wistrom, and Alberts.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty good group.
You get one more. You get one more just to add to the party. The fact that you didn't choose one of the Peter brothers is just astounding.
Well, that's what I might lean into Jason Peter here.
Okay. And I don't know. And again, I don't know that you could be wrong. Yeah, John Dutton was an absolute savage. Ron McDowell, the Dancing Bear, my favorite.
Yeah,
one of my favorites. All right, Bach. Thank you, kind sir, for keeping me company for 2 hours. We'll do it again on Wednesday. But coming up, Captain Show will take you through from 1 until 3, and then Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Ellie manning the board, and we'll be drawn into conversation. So fantastic. Great couple of hours. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Be kind to yourselves, and then be kind to everybody else simply because you're just that good.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and